I mean, it could even start with this sort of like Bruce Banner kind of thing that he's just like a classic nine. I think nine
Oh my
wing
God.
one. A lot of
Yeah.
people think nine wing eight. I think it's a wand, big
No, he
wand.
was a scientist. He was like this
Oh
nerdy
yeah.
And
guy.
he's just so polite, right?
Yeah.
He's so classically polite. And then what? Sudden, just almost nothing would tick him off and become this big green punching, smashing thing.
Yeah.
I really understand him on a deep level. And then what? Honing his anger into consciousness is what he's like. What's his like phrase? What's his little? You don't want to piss me off. What's his thing? You won't
Hulk
like me when I'm
smash.
angry.
You don't want to piss me off. It's Hulking time, baby. Honey, you do not want to piss me off. It's Hulking time.
Hulk smash.
Oh my God. Well, I got very sassy. It's you won't like me when I'm angry. There too
Yeah.
is. And there's like on a deep fundamental level, I really understand that because oh my God, especially over the last like I don't know astrologically what it is. It's like the last like 6 years I've like really seen the like full expression of my own Hulk like rage anger and I'm like, oh my God, that really does need to be honed. Whoa, no wonder I spent the first half of my life suppressing that. Like, Jesus, that I should be in
I
jail.
think that's why it's like it's also. I think that's also why it's like a very like attachment thing. Like you won't like me when I'm angry. Like does anyone like anyone when they're angry? That's the point of anger. Like you're not
I
very
like some people
likable.
when they're mad. I think it's cute.
That's a good point. That is funny. Yeah, that is such a 911 tell. You won't like me when I'm angry.
Yeah, you won't like this
Yeah.
attachment any longer if
Yeah.
I get angry.
Yeah. I've been so nice and now I'm gonna be so mean.
You better not piss me off.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
become very unpalatable very quickly.
I was thinking about this today before the episode. Yeah, I was thinking about how like anger, the emotion, the expression, uh, it's for getting your needs met, right? Like you only get mad when you like perceive that your needs are not being met, and you're like, I have to power through so that I can get what I need. I think nines are so scared of getting angry because I don't know. There's so much we haven't expressed. Like anger is power. Like when you're mad, you get what you want typically.
Yeah.
Ask like any Karen. Um,
That's the goal, yeah.
Yeah.
but like, I think nines are scared to own that because they're like, if I express this, like I'm going to start getting what I want really fast, and it's like seemingly bottomless. Like since we don't feel it often or relate to it often, it's kind of like uncharted, unmapped. Like our resolution of our own understanding of our anger is like really low. So we think it's infinite. So we're like, what if we like take over the world? Like I don't know what to do with that responsibility. Um, like what if I just start getting exactly what I want all the time? And then we have to figure out what we want in the first place. That's crazy. I still don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
Well, and also it affects the entire world around you. Like anger will always change things. I think that's the other scary thing. Nothing stays the same after
Yeah.
you blow up at somebody or just like, or like, hey, don't do that anymore. Or
Or
whatever.
you just like meet the boundary, right? Like that's anger is
Yeah.
just like, oh, something's happened. I don't like this. It's like it puts you back in touch with your subjectivity and your boundaries and yeah, like your desires, like you said. We talked previously in the last episode about Mars and its relationship or its the way
Yeah.
it represents anger and desire and assertiveness and will and drive and blah 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 blah. Anyway, and I think that that's one of those things. Like the times that I've been angry have always been like really teaching moments because in the moment I like maybe I know what I'm angry about. Suddenly my mouth goes off and I'm like feeling and I'm just like listening to myself articulate so
Yes.
clearly
Yes.
what it is that I didn't like, what it is that I want instead. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm learning this in real time. You know, and then sometimes, and this is maybe PSA for everyone that knows a 911, sometimes it's a thing of just like, well, why didn't you say that before? And I'm like, listen, I'm learning this right now. We're learning this together.
It's an excavation, you know?
I'm finding this out in real time. Sorry, it's coming at you. If I knew this before, maybe I still wouldn't have said anything.
I think too, it's like for nines especially. I mean, I think it's for anybody that it's just like it is hard to communicate needs. Like it's hard to speak up. Like it's hard. I mean, because that means first off we have to be in communication with our own needs in the first place, and like you know that interpretation can get crossed a lot of the time. And I think that's why like anger can be like just overall a very misunderstood thing in people and collectively and whatever. But also, yeah, like to communicate that to another person is to like, yeah, ask for something or establish a boundary or to like vocalize something incredibly honest and like messy or just, yeah, not favorable at all. Like it really sort of like breaks a projection like of yourself and of another person and whatever, like because it gets to that like, oh wait, yeah, we're two separate people and now we're like bumping up into a boundary of like that I'm this person and they're that person. Like it's just like, yeah, I mean that's a nine. Yeah, a nine thing of like we're always merging, but I think people do that unconsciously in other types too. It's like the nine in everybody sort of thing.
Yeah, I think so too, for sure.
Yeah. And I think we also, this is going to sound weird, speaking about Americans, but like we are an incredibly polite society, like in person. I think that's why all of our weird anger comes out when we're not in person with each other, or it comes out through like ideology or through like beliefs and stuff. I don't know, just going around in the world, like in America, everyone's just like so tamped down and like kind of to themselves. And I think anger, when we express it, can feel that much more disruptive just because it's not like culturally normal to just say what you want to say and be honest. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
I
that's
think it
just
also like it comes out like, you know, in the whole kind of like Karen culture or whatever.
Yeah,
Like I think,
that's true.
and that's why I would be interested too in talking about like the difference between like anger and frustration, because I feel like that's like America can easily express frustration.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like in a way that's just like, this feels like it should be anger, but instead it's coming out at this like drilling, like pick, like, oh my God, I'm just a gas station employee. Please stop screaming at me. You know, like that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. That I think like, I wonder
Yeah,
if
that's
like
interesting.
a lot of like not unexpressed anger comes more in the form of like picking and picking and picking and picking and
Yep.
that and depression too. I think that
Yeah.
those are ways that like unexpressed or repressed or whatever anger can come out.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
really interesting. It makes me think, and this is working with the symbol a little too much, but it makes me think of, so anger is represented in the body types. Not that other types can't exist or can't
They can't
don't
exist.
have
No.
access.
It's only body types out there.
Yeah, God, imagine we'd say like 3 words. Actually, that's not true. We don't shut up. Us 3 in particular. Anyway, I'm thinking of the symbol and how anger is represented. Yeah, anger is held in the body, and then the anger of the body center is 9. And so it's making me think of like frustration being, and who knows, all the frustration is going to freak out now. But
You're
It
getting
makes
it
me
wrong.
think that frustration and rejection would be like distortions of what anger, the way that anger should be expressed. And so this is more attachment supremacy. What a fucking shock that I'm campaigning with that again. But it does make me think of that, where it's like frustration is like a reaction to what should be anger or something like that. And rejection, like these are like secondary.
Yes.
That this, you know what I mean? Like these are like secondary
Rejection's doing the same thing.
reactions to what anger should be. And it's like, okay, so the 9 relationship to anger is like we absorb, and then suddenly it's this like, actually here's the boundary, and now it's just like shrapnel everywhere.
Yeah.
And so it makes me think that like the embodied version of anger is just, it is actually what it's like it is a demand, it's a boundary, it's knowing what the line is but still being receptive to the ask that the anger is asking. I am thinking of Karen and how Karen is angry, but it's like fussing, and sometimes it's like, what do you want? Do you even know what you want, or are you just too distracted by the fact that you're just whining? You know, and then 8 doesn't even bother. It just draws a new territory and burns everything else up. So it's like, what did you guys want? Are you aware of what you want? Because like when I feel angry as a 9, so I'm like finding out in that moment. I'm like, oh, this is what I want. Here it is, loud and clear.
And I think that's actually like a more it's a more natural kind of thing, though. I think like if we already knew what we wanted and saved that up and then got angry about it later, I think that's where Karen comes in a little bit. Just as shorthand. I think the interesting thing too about like the archetype of Karen is that she's also scared. She's really frightened.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's frustration and there's fear and it's all pent up, and then she just gets angry. And it's interesting that it's a white woman, you know. But yeah, I guess this just speaks to as well how all of the emotional kind of ties of each center do bleed into each other. Like fear and anger are so easy to overlap. Like they overlap all the time. And I think that's where hatred comes from. It's kind of this like, I'm scared of you and I am angry at you and I hate you. You know, I want to destroy you. But then maybe it's like masking shame too. Like if we're going to talk about America, like our culture is so ashamed and so afraid. And we're all like hating, just ugly, angry at each other all the time. But yeah, anger is interesting because I don't know, shame lets you know when you've done something wrong or when you perceive that you have, even when you haven't. Fear lets you know when you're in danger, but anger lets you know when you're it's almost so primal, it's difficult to put into words, like what anger is even accomplishing. Besides, it's letting you know when to exert your life force. You know, it's almost synonymous with one another. Like pure anger is pure, just being.
It's primal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was like reading up on anger, there was this, I like related it to a lot of what you're saying, Alexandra, with like, except 9 in the center, I believe, is the natural state that we actually get to confront anger, which is in the withdrawn stance. That when you are withdrawn, which 9 is withdrawn type, you can actually confront the anger. So it's not reactive and it's not drilling, but you withdraw. So like, yeah. And so anger in some psychological texts, they attribute anger to the process of individuation, where when you're angry, you are, you know, understanding basically where your boundaries are being blurred and you're bumping up against a part of yourself that needs to individuate. Whether like you know, in the Aries sense, like you are needing to exhibit courage to either speak up for yourself and just like establish something. Yeah. Or that like there is a part of a person, like a shadow essentially, that they are showing that essentially you unconsciously are meeting, you know, a part of yourself, which I think we can easily see that in a lot of like the hate kind of rhetoric, is that like, you know, you hate something so much because a part of you has really severed that piece off and put it in the other person, and whatever that, like, any of these processes are things you can only determine when you withdraw, because that is like the place where you actually confront like, what is this? So it's like letting the energy kind of like settle and start to take a form within yourself that can be more creative than it is destructive, you know? And that's why I think it kind of like overlaps really nicely in the sexual instinct way, because you are like in that moment of anger, you know, you are completely merged with this other thing. Like you are, the boundary is completely blurred with like, I don't even have a boundary and I'm violated by it, you know, like that kind of thing.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Really,
that's really good.
very good insight.
Also,
And-
alchemizing it would be the other
Yeah.
sexual piece.
exactly. Yeah. And so it's like, I think too, in like object relations, they talk about it like, you know, the good mother and the bad mother. So like this can all be sort of mirrored in the process of a baby who like their mother goes away and all of a sudden they're filled with this like hatred for mom, you know, like fuck mom that she left, because that I was getting like, you know, the good mother, the good breast, that kind of thing. And now that she's gone, like there's this piece that has been cut off and put somewhere else that we will eventually confront one day, right? Like that's the idea of it, is that the object becomes sliced and put into the bad mother. Meanwhile, like we're trying to still have a relationship with the good mother. And in withdrawing, we realize that she is both the good and bad mother. You know what I mean?
Really
Like
good. Yeah.
you can't, it's not a process. Like your anger does help you establish boundaries and when you've been wronged and blah, blah, blah. But like anger in its embodied form is never like this crazy, like dramatic, outlandish thing, because we can hold that tension that like, yeah, I am a totally separate person than this other person. And they are both, they hold both good and bad qualities, both likable and unlikable qualities. It comes from the same being and blah, 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 like that kind of thing.
Well done. Yes, good job.
Okay. All right, we're done.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is House of Enneagram. I almost forgot the name of the podcast.
Bye.
Bye.
You don't want to piss us off.
And remember, kids.
Yeah, I think like that speaks to, I don't know, sometimes people call a specific expression of anger righteous anger, you know? And I think that's just when we witness anger being expressed in a way that is very clear and very, I guess clear is the right word. It's like, I feel like our anger can get kind of murky and it can get kind of polluted and weird, and it kind of comes out in a strange way. But I don't know, we all have an idea of what it feels like to embody our anger and to express it effectively. And I don't mean like in a constrained sense, but in more of like a focused sense. That's interesting. And yeah, we call it righteous anger. We almost like differentiate it from like a different kind of anger.
Yeah. I think
what
there's...
what is even the process of focusing it? You know, like how does that even happen?
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, for me, I think it is within like the withdrawn stance and being able to parse out, like to really clearly define the boundary of just like, okay, what is it exactly that's happening with who? What part am I angry about? Is that a part that is like irritating for this reason, or if it's irritating for that reason? It's really being able to kind of like follow the anger, you know, like almost in a fantastical way, like, okay, see it to the end. What happens, you know, like what happens if you do all the things that you think are the right thing to do, or like how to express blah, 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 like play it out and like see what resolution it takes you to. Like if it's I'm alone and I never have to deal with this person again, then it's like, okay, maybe you shouldn't be talking to that person or something, you know what I mean? Like so I think there is wisdom in anger, and I think what the one like article that I was reading about individuation and anger, like it's really trying to get, every time you get angry and you go through this process, it is trying to like allow you to meet the parts of yourself that will individuate, that like that won't rely so much on the object relational dynamic. Like when you're actually confronting the anger, not when you're just like negating it, or you know, it's just the anger will always move to the same object, you know, just different form, you know what I mean? Until and I think there was something I was reading at one point too where anger is like, you know how we were saying like reenacting that one time, like how we reenact things with the object relations.
Yeah.
I think it was anger, something with trauma and anger that gets expressed after traumatic things is like an attempt to replay and re-empower, like people who have been traumatized. Like people who have been traumatized in a lot of different ways will express anger to try and gain a sense of power because they've been made to feel so powerless. And I mean, that is kind of like a general thing with anger. Like when we were talking about like Karens and frustration and stuff like that, it does all remind me of like anger kind of getting expressed because of like a lack of power. And so it's just like, I need to feel powerful, and this is the way I know how to do that. Or really like good. Or a lack of control, and I need to establish control. So it is that 8 and 1 thing, right? Like 8 totally. Power, 1 control, that it's like I need to express either. And I think that's why like you can see, you know, even in a 9, like a 9-wing 8 is going to go more for the power dynamic, whereas 9-wing 1 is going to go for the more control dynamic.
For sure. So 9 being a withdrawn type, being a withdrawn body type, being, you know, the sort of the primal energy of anger in the way that it's supposed to be held, which it's within what we're talking about, it would be to take it, to confront it from a withdrawn place. So hold it, right? 9 has the ability to contain something, to hold something. And then confront the anger there, confront the difference in the like draw the new line, the new boundary that needs to be set through the processing of whatever the anger is that is being confronted. And so ideally this would all happen, not necessarily quietly, privately, withdrawn, right? Like it's a personal process that ideally wouldn't be this like overly dramatic, like theatrical, explosive shrapnel, blah, 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 in 9, or I'm sorry, in like 1 or 8. I don't know why I keep saying that word, but it's just like, that's the imagery that comes dramatic. To mind. That's sometimes how my anger has felt. It's just like, I'm like, nice. And then suddenly it's like shards of glass everywhere. I'm like, what is happening? And so, okay, so it's kind of interesting because then I'm like, okay, so this was my thought process, was like, okay, if it's supposed to be that, because I do believe it is supposed to be that. I believe that like the high iteration of 9 can hold and confront anger, but then apply it. And I think that's part of the move to 3 is to just like apply. But then, so I'm thinking about my own life and I'm like, so what the fuck? I've crashed out so many times. And so like, what's the deal with that then? Because like, I do not hold up to the 9 stereotype where it's just like, oh, it's like nice and quiet and polite all the time. I've been loud. I've been dramatic. I've been mean as fuck. Like and so where does that come from? And so I'm thinking that part of this comes from, it's from the fear of losing the merge, right? It's like the fear and the pain and maybe even the grief of like, oh fuck, that's right, I am a separate person. And the object, our social object, the person we're merged in with is also a separate person. And so there's like, there's going to be fear and grief of like, fuck, we're 2 separate people. I have to like know that and own that and hold that and apply it. because to not know that means that I'm just going to be subjecting this person to my anger all the time because
Yeah.
they're an entirely different person that's like, of course, never going to know where my boundaries are, especially if I'm not treating myself as an individual person, which means I'm not establishing my own, like maintaining my own boundaries.
Yeah.
Does all that make sense?
Totally
Okay.
relatable. Yeah. I would say that's what I've found myself running into. I mean, we're social nines again, so it's going to be social context that it's like other people activate my anger. But yeah, it feels like one of the things that I've been sitting with too is like just how, I mean, like stereotypically nine, I do a very terrible job at feeling like truly sitting and holding uncomfortable things happening, like I think I'm able to deal with it because all these times I've like been powerful and I've stood up to it and
Right.
I've yelled or like gotten angry or whatever, and like truly I was just incredibly uncomfortable. And I
Yeah.
think nine's
Right.
thing is like I want comfort, I want harmony, I want a secure attachment, blah blah blah. And like even if it's not with people, but like with the way I'm handling kind of like anything in myself or in life or whatever, I just feel, but it's mainly highlighted through social things that I can feel like, oh, I just like am really bad at holding, like just feeling uncomfortable and also like not having a solution for that. And so it's like that just makes me tense and angry, like a low hum tense and anger like all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think it is just that it sucks because it's like we've only known anger, like we've only seen it be expressed in the time in like role models or in life and whatever in this way that's like dominating kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like
or
the like
super dysregulated. Yeah.
right, dysregulated, dominating power, like someone's winning this, kind of thing. Like it's someone gets what they want, but in a way that's like totally diminishing another person or the other person experiencing things. It's your fault. I don't take responsibility, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't think I've gotten that extreme in life with like, refusing to take responsibility or blah, blah, blah. Like, I think with, like most of my experiences, I can be pretty level with things, but at the same time, there's still some kind of internal mix up of like, yeah, what I actually want. And I think we talked about this on the Never Ending Nine episode. It's just like, I don't think I'm ever in touch with when I just don't want to attach, and that gets me so like, I don't realize my anger is like, I just don't want to like, that just doesn't want to happen right now,
Yeah, that's another one too. Sometimes my anger response will be just like, I don't actually want this in my field. Like it'll be less so that like my needs are not getting met or something like that, but it's just like I don't want to. And again, social blah blah blah. We should just put that disclaimer at the beginning. We're going to talk about people all the time because we're all social. If you're sexual or self-pres, apply it to food or something and translate for yourself, please. I am a social type, so all of my drama has been around connections. And now I don't even remember what I was saying. God, what was I fucking saying?
I don't even think you started. You were just going to say something about social anger. Attachment. You don't want to attach. You don't want it in your field.
Yeah.
Yes, it's that. Where sometimes it's not even like... sometimes it's not even like this person has done something wrong or something like that, but it's just like I don't want to deal with this person. And it's not that I'm like socially rejecting this person. Maybe it is. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like this person. It's just like, you're in my fucking aura, get out. And sometimes I don't recognize that I'm just like, I don't want to be merged with you right now. And so I will just find ways to feel like I've been wronged when really the issue is like, I just need to feel separate from you right now. I just need to be in my own Alexandra atmosphere. Go be in your atmosphere.
Right.
That's huge. Yeah. Yeah. I think, specifically for nines, but also for like every human being, um,
Mm-hmm.
humans are so sensitive. Like we don't realize that about ourselves. Like we evolved to feel things, right?
Mm-hmm.
To hear and to sense and to understand when our heart rate goes up or whatever. Like we're constantly clued into these signals all the time. And I think nines especially can just get overwhelmed with discomfort. And anger is a really uncomfortable feeling, Like you say shrapnel, like it gives this impression of like literally like it feels like you are going to blow up, like your
Mm-hmm.
skin is going to like fillet off of your body and you are going to murder everyone in your vicinity at an accident or something. Like
Yes.
I think that's the
That is how it
fear of
feels.
expressing
Yes.
it. And shrapnel is an interesting word too, because it implies some kind of like dangerous, painful pollution of the environment. Like you are like scared of like psychically polluting
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
everyone else.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
causing some kind of
Um,
harm.
that fuck off energy. I think a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the time, like we can obviously over adapt as nines, and I feel like that feeling of being like shit, I'm way too deep,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want everyone to leave me alone. That feeling comes on all at once, and I think when it
Mm-hmm.
happens, it's both frightening and also very anger inducing, and
Mm-hmm.
those emotions get tied together in our memory, and I think that's probably why nines are so scared of being angry.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's boundaries. It's the feeling of understanding that you are you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
anger is just. Well, I guess in an ideal world, everyone would just express their anger, and it would be kind of democratic. Like, oh, like we're just all looking out for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, nines do this weird thing where we just like take ourselves out of the equation because we're scared of trouncing all over other people.
Oh, well,
It's
that's
in the
another
air.
thing too, I think with anger, it's self-protective
Yeah.
a lot of the
Yeah, for
time.
sure.
Like self-protective, like it
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
protects the ego in a healthy
Mm-hmm.
way if you
Mm-hmm.
express it
Mm-hmm.
like when it
Right.
happens.
That. Yeah, and even too like what, we're all saying that like a lot of the times our anger comes too late. And
Yeah.
that's usually because it's like if I show like I think a lot of us have not had the experience of one, establishing healthy boundaries, right? But also two, like really feeling like you are in charge of your own protection.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are able to protect yourself. And I've noticed anger in people when that is like really deep, um, negative kind of anger, and it's obviously like incredibly self-protective in the
Mm-hmm.
sense that it's like neither of us would even understand what that is, like
Mm-hmm.
because it's so just kind of deeply suited. There's in the one book, Descent to the Goddess, she talks about um the eyes of the Death Mother, and yeah, like how she will look at you and basically you feel as if you're not even a human being, like you're not even like the eyes of the Death Mother are like piercing through you as a person. And essentially the myth of like Ereshkigal and Inanna is that like she's put on on a meat hook and
Mm-hmm.
hung there
Mm-hmm.
and being stared at, like the eyes of the Death Mother just going straight through her. And there's this thing where, I love the way she talked about it in the book because it's like the only like brutally honest take on like anger, and in this case it would be like archetypal feminine anger, is it's like or rage or whichever, but it's this thing of just like, there is a part of you that like does not love and needs to protect, and like that's just
Mm-hmm.
primal and it's
Mm-hmm.
there, and like and she was talking about how like, you know, kind of in the setting of like of a therapist or something, she's kind of speaking to like anyone who has people come into their therapy room with this, like, because she personally had it. It's like, don't try to like fix that, you know, like know that it's self-predicted. Like there's certain, you know, choose your battles kind of thing. Like even we're talking about like expressing anger, but even I think it would be an interesting conversation to get in also like into receiving anger, you know, like being the
That would be
one
good.
on the other side that's either watching it or receiving it or whatever. That like she was saying that it's like, don't good mother the anger, you know, like
Oh, that's
that
interesting.
is someone's protection, their right to protection. And I've had that experience before, and it's incredibly like it feels so opposite and horrible to my being, because I want it to attach, and I want to be nice, and I want everything to be okay. And there have been times where I've had to just like, oh my God, this is I'm not here anymore, you know, like this,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
respecting the other person is in a complete, like, um, con consuming of
It's almost
their,
like a trance.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not taking it personally. That's really real.
Yeah. And so I think there is also, in understanding your own anger, there is also understanding other people's anger and when it's being directed at you and how it's being directed at you, and if it's like something to take on and to consider or not. I think that's also, again, like a withdrawn thing, withdrawn process
Oh,
that
that's good.
it's something like that can be communicated in the relationship or whatever, but it's like I've just had the experience where it's really, really hard to communicate from a place that neither person understands their own anger, you know, and I feel like everyone notoriously has probably had this experience, because like who the fuck understands their anger these days? But like,
Yeah.
I think it's one thing to, as an interesting topic, just, yeah, like being the one who is being something of in like anger and individuation for the other person, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my partner and I, um, every once in a while, we'll have a huge argument, you know. We've been together for 7 years, and um, I don't know, we're super different. We think in different ways, and every once in a while, we kind of just set each other off. And that's something I've had to like learn, is knowing like, oh, okay, like this anger that they're feeling at me, like a part of it's at me, you know, and I can own that. But part of it isn't, you know. There's like
Yeah.
it's almost like a panicked child there. And like, I just need to let them express this. And same for me too. Like being able to recognize that in my partner has really kind of shown me like, oh, you know, I was such a polite kid. You know, I was like hyper, like good behaved and well behaved. God damn it. I just I didn't throw tantrums or anything. So now like there's all
Yeah,
of
me either.
these like childish anger feelings in me. And I don't know, now kind of just like giving myself the permission with people I trust to like care and to not like think I'm being an asshole.
I do think that with 9, and I'll speak to just my own experience with this, but I think in the past, like 4, 5, 6 years or something like that, I went from just 9, like the 9 kind of denial of anger. It's like I've always known that I was angry. You know, like I was just never one of those 9s that's just that like wasn't aware of that, or just like, oh, I didn't know I was burning with rage all the time. I have known that. But expressing it was just like not something I did very well, and it part of it was because I was afraid of the impact, because like, okay, fine, I'm experiencing anger, I'm feeling wronged right now, but I also still don't want to like hurt the other person, because
Yeah.
it's like the level of offense that has been, that like the whatever has been, whatever I'm perceiving was done wrong, was like violating or boundary crossing, doesn't warrant the level of like volcanic energy that I have in me. So it was always like, all right, I have to just keep this in, keep this in. But then I would say for the past, like, I would say the positive slide, to bring it back to 9 for a second, the positive move to 6 is actually like owning all of that reactivity and like
Yeah.
expressing it, you know.
Yeah.
And so I think over the past, 6 years or something like that, I think I was able to do that, and not necessarily on the high side all the time. I really went hard into like expressing and reacting and whatever, and so I was able to see the full edge of that, and now it feels like I'm kind of back at 9, but it's like in a wiser place, because now I know the extent of what my reaction is, and now I know how to like hold it. I think there is some wisdom in like I do think that anger has to be a withdrawn process, but it also has to, part of that process has to be like knowing what all of the subjective reactions are, expressing all of that reactivity within oneself in order to be able to like do a six-ish kind of inventory on like, okay, what's pissing me off? What's the thought process behind all of this? What is the emotional process behind all of this? How do I move this back into 9 where it can be like a solid contained thing, and then go to 3 and like actually apply it into, because even the move from 9 to 3 is going from, this is using David, but it's going from 3 threes, right? 3 3 3 is 9.
Yeah.
And then it's going to a solitary 3, which is just 1. So you do become a solo act, and it is a move towards recognizing like, I am me, I'm a solo act, and you are a solo act as well. And so how do I redefine how do I like redefine the boundary? How do I redefine like you can think of like boundaries and like the borders between like countries or something too.
And that brought something up in my mind too, like knowing all of your own subjective reactions and stuff. The word knowing is interesting. It's and this is like what I think the body center is for, and what anger is for, is knowing and being and experiencing and expressing. Those are all the same thing, Like when we know something, we experience it, we feel it, we embody it. And when you express something, you're embodying it, you're bringing it out into the world. And 9, I think, and the body center in general, it's where knowing comes from. It's where how we know anything with like a capital K. Like there's no question. The mind can't pick it apart anymore. Can't like feel on it anymore. There's no image of it anymore. It just is a fact. I think anger as an emotion is the most like upfront, factual, like here it is. It's right here. It's having an impact on you right now, on both of us. And maybe that's why it's scary. It's like it's so close to like fundamental reality. Like if reality is just the building blocks of fact, like anger is rewriting that in real time. And yeah, it's also just, it's one of the most visceral experiences we can have. I think that's why anger and sexuality get crossed all the fucking time too. Because they're both kind of these like, well, they're cathartic. And anger does have kind of a climax. Like you keep going and going and going and going, and then you like reach this fever pitch, and then you cross a threshold, and a new boundary is created in this moment. You and this person you're angry at, or this thing you're angry at, like they join, they alchemize, and there's a new state created.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And there's almost the same kind of, I mean, people call it like the post clarity of having sex. Like,
Yeah. Yes. I
it's
agree.
the same thing with anger,
Totally.
like you get furious, and then you empty yourself out. And it does feel hollow afterwards, but there's like a new just a crystal clearness, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
it's a tension and a release.
It is a
yeah,
tension
that's
and
a much
release,
better way to
yeah.
say that. Um, yeah, that's my whole point.
Yeah, no, that is
Mm-hmm.
interesting. There is an anger, anger orgasm that happens
Mm-hmm.
where it's like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
anger, 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 building, 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 and then suddenly it's like, okay. And that's interesting because, of course, like it can feel cathartic and even the catharsis can feel good. And I experientially have just like often feel relieved
Yeah.
after I've expressed all of that because it's like, okay, you know, there can be fear mixed into that too because now it's like before anger, BA, is that doesn't exist anymore because now it's like all of this truth has come out and now it's like we gotta
Yes.
sorry that has to come it's like that's there's that doesn't exist anymore
Yeah.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Now
It's
you
been
know all this
obliterated.
about me now and we have to integrate this in a new way, and so that can be scary because there can be like nostalgia or like still an attachment for like the old, just like literally from minutes ago before I said all of this shit. But now
Yeah.
I've said all of this, and so we have to kind of trailblaze into a new reality
Right.
where
Mm.
this is being respected, this is being where this has like space.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's an interesting crossover between body centers, anger, and the sexual instinct.
Mm-hmm.
It's these like thresholds that can only be crossed and never, you can never go back,
And
you
you can
know?
never go back. Yeah.
Like these
Mm-hmm.
things have
Never
such a
unsay
deep
it.
effect on us as people and on our environments, like social, physical, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
uh, they're the most potent forces in the universe, you know,
Mm-hmm.
anger and desire. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I
that's
think I have a
Sometimes.
quote for that too.
ooh.
I know I put it down somewhere. Okay. Let me see. Blah 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 blah. Sorry.
Beautiful
Okay.
quote. Beautiful quote.
Thank you. The end. Bye.
That made me angry.
Okay. All right. It's the quote that I have is here we go. The cooling process that transmutes rage's heat into the meaningful, conscious experience of anger depends upon self-reflection. Self-reflection facilitates communication among our various inner parts and between ourselves and others. Because of the connective quality of self-reflection, anger can become a creative experience, bringing together hitherto split off parts or split apart people. As such, anger is fundamentally erotic, helping to bind what has not yet been bound and helping to know what has not yet been known.
Wow.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a
That all ties
smelting
into
fire.
smelting is good. Yeah. It all ties
Yeah.
Yeah.
back into Mars so easily, so well.
Yeah.
Mars is the
Yeah.
planet of fighting and literally fucking also.
Right, yeah.
So they're related. Yeah.
Is that a Vulcan too? Like, is that like the volcanic kind of?
Mm-hmm.
I
I
know
would say
Vulcan's
so.
the god of the forge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's interesting
Hephaestus
too.
is also related to it, because Hephaestus and Ares are related with, are like partners of Venus in
Hmm.
mythology, and then they create Eros
Yeah.
as well, which is the thing that in a psychic reality is like helps you release rage, and that's where the erotic and love comes
Yeah.
in when anger is actually like binds something together rather than pulls things apart.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like even in tarot, like the tower is Mars.
Mm-hmm.
And people think of it as like something being demolished, but like I've begun to kind of see it as like the container of the spirit kind of molting. Like the tower is a container, your spirit's contained within it, and it just can't be contained, so it explodes. And you have to kind of like find this new container. Um, and then Venus is the empress, and she kind of just gestates that into like a new kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
a new body, I guess. Yeah, maybe that's like the best way to understand our anger. Because yeah, as nines, we like tamp it down before it even like happens, you know, or before we're even aware of it in a psychic
Mm-hmm.
sense. And just have it as this ever renewing process. And the sexual instinct comes in as well with the snake kind of like forever molting its skin and growing and
Mm-hmm.
like leaving behind this like remnants of the past self. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this is kind of scorpionic too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think anger, there's a lot of text out there too on like holding like past anger and stuff like that and like bringing that into new situations. So there is a way that like in that quote that I just read, it's actually kind of charmingly beautiful, shall I say, that like you're trying to like um regain a part of yourself as well, or like regain a bond or something like that, because that's the, I mean, like when we think of even just anger in a relational dynamic, like a lot of the time it is like I'm trying to um express myself so you can hear me, and we can like in the secure attachment kind of way we can repair
Mm-hmm.
and like move forward with this now, right? Like, and to think a lot of nines like that don't express anger, it's really another form of that self-forgetting, because it's
Yeah,
parts of themselves they don't even realize are like lost, or they
For
realize that
sure.
are they're not claiming, or that they've put out there and kind of just, you know, disowned or something like that. Then if you're
Mm-hmm.
not expressing some kind of anger at any point in life, then it's like, you know, not sensing parts of yourself have
Yeah,
been
for sure.
gone or something, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And which is,
For
yeah, very
sure.
typical of nine for one, but I also see it in a lot of types
yeah,
because
Yeah, so
it's
do I. Yeah.
hard to express that, yeah. Or
Yeah.
to even recognize, yeah, that something is cut apart. Again, another Mars thing.
hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a
Yeah.
lot of probably self anger too.
Yes. Yes.
We disown ourselves, and um, those parts we disown must be so mad, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's a
Hmm.
depression. It's you're
Yes.
depressing your own anger, which is Mars
Yeah.
Yeah.
turning in on itself.
Yes. That's, yeah, that was another thing I was going to say too. If the anger doesn't come out, it goes
It
in.
goes in. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to go
Yeah.
somewhere. Like it's a movement. It can't
Hmm.
just, you know, yeah, be stagnant. I think, yeah, that is where it's depression is when it's stagnant, because it's like that's your core life force there trying
Mm-hmm.
to activate something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember early in my Enneagram, I don't know, journey, whatever the fuck. I remember either reading something that David Gray said, or maybe said it on a podcast or something. I can't remember. But he said something around like nine needing to worship anger like a deity. And I remember
Hmm.
being so struck by that and finding that so beautiful, actually, because it keeps like this it keeps like just like stoking the flame of your own life force. It doesn't have to
Hmm.
be, it's not necessarily this destructive thing, but it's like if you keep a pulse on your anger, if you do worship it like a deity, you are actually, it is self-worship that you end up doing.
Mm.
It ends up being this like, oh no, these are where my boundaries are. This is, and boundaries, I don't mean in the Saturnian sense, because Saturn literally rules the boundaries, but it's more like this is just my right to exist in the way that I want to exist. It's that like
Hmm.
Aries, Mars energy. And so let's see what I was saying. Like, I don't know. I just remember being struck by that, because it doesn't, if you keep a pulse on that also, then this sort of Hulk shrapnel thing that we keep talking about actually doesn't have to happen.
Right.
If you
Hmm.
keep a pulse on like where your anger is, where your boundaries are, where your desire is, how that's manifesting, on your own separateness from other people, then it doesn't have to be this like Karen energy, right? Or this like need to just dominate, that this eightish need to just like absolutely dominate the field so that nothing provokes it ever. Because that is what eight does. It thinks it's really good at anger. It's not. Sorry, you're not good at anger.
No type is good at anger. I was gonna say, like, you can even see like 8 and 1's coping of anger like is much
so
louder than a 9. Like 9 is just like eating away at its insides, but
depressed.
with but 8 and 1, it's like you can really see just, like, because it's an externalized form of that thing, you know, like it's showing, you know, quite obviously, like the rejection or the frustration or the reactivity or, you know, whatever, the competency. It's just so like, oh, this.
Yeah, you can typically feel when it's unprocessed. So yeah, this conversation is just making me think that this like dramatic expression of anger, and like sometimes it is necessary because sometimes people push too much and they do need to be told to like fuck off, and like an expression and a display of anger is like the necessary way to assert yourself,
and I think
and to protect
people
yourself.
Need to be shocked sometimes too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when there isn't a boundary actively being crossed, like in the sense of the Karen, it's just like, what, it's a little bit like, you haven't processed any of this, have you? You haven't processed any of your anger at all. Like, do you even know what you're coming up to me, wagging your finger with your haircut for?
With your haircut.
Yeah.
I'd be angry at myself with that haircut.
And I've also just experienced anger coming my way that is clearly like more fear and self-protection based than it is like the renegotiation of I don't know, some kind of etiquette between the two of us. It just feels like, okay, whoa, you got scared and you feeling violated, and it's like, okay, Jesus. All right, I'll just wait until that gets burned through and then we'll talk about what happened, right? Because even like, I also experience both 1 and 8 as when the anger does get expressed, it does often feel like this like trance state, like we were saying earlier. And in the own expression of my own anger, it feels like that too, where suddenly I'm like, how am I so articulate and clear when I had no idea that I was feeling this even a second ago?
Yes.
And so it's this trance-like state. And then, you know, it's like sex too, like the sexual instinct too. It's just this trance place. And then you come out of it and you're like, what the fuck happened?
I think
where did I just go?
That, like, what I like the idea of the whole worshiping your anger like a god, but also like we do have gods of anger and gods of fire, like in mythology.
We channel them in that moment.
Yes, we take on the spirit of Mars. You know, like you even think of like the spirit of Aries in battle. Like what I was just talking about this the other day. I watched a thing on fucking Astro World. Do you remember like when everyone got trampled in the crowd at
was that Travis Scott?
Travis Scott's concert? Yeah. And just watching like them talk about it and the footage and stuff like that, it just like even the like what is the spirit of the crowd? You know what I mean? Like there's like I was getting into this like weird space where I'm like, oh, like and I kind of tied it to like the spirit of battle, like this chaotic where like people, like a crowd of people become like their boundaries, they're in a trance, like it's just completely blurred, like. You would think of that in the spirit of battle, like you have to somehow blur the boundaries in order to like it's that penetration, like in order to
it's penetrating,
to do that kind of like collective active sort of thing. But even in a one-on-one situation, it's trance because like this person now becomes like, well, you're like channeling the spirit of anger is in the room, but now like what the object of relations, the object of anger, like, you know, 6s are like so great at like parodying people's anger, you know, and like on comedy things, and they'll always
sure,
like
yeah,
they'll
yeah.
do the whole like, yeah, I don't think they should do that, mom, and they start like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, going off into a fucking bit about like how this person's actually angry at their mother, and
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but there's truth to that,
It is
because like
true.
when you are like angry at someone, you're saying all these things are like pre-written somewhere inside of you. Like
Yeah.
they are like etched in stone somewhere inside of you. And so that person is not just the person, you know, that is causing all that. Like, obviously if it's etched in stone, it's been there. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
been
yeah.
with you, and like that person's just evoking it, you know? And so it's just like, what is the thing that you're like writing this monologue to, you know what I mean? Like what's, and that's, I think, why it can be creative as well, because it's like there's a creative, like passionate kind of energy in that, like in general, as you know, when when the object of desire, like object of anger, object of desire, get confused, and it, like, you know, poetry starts blah, like coming out, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just like
yeah.
there's no there's no stop, or what am I trying to think of? There's no blocking it or something like that. I think that's why also
Yeah.
when people aren't in some kind of relationship with their anger, it can absolutely reflect in their creativity too. Like that you can feel it. A creative block is a similar feeling to like
Oh,
a
yeah, that's really good.
not
Yeah.
expressing anger too.
Yeah. I think too that just you talking about this like trance and this like I don't know, feeding into like desire and kind of just it overcoming blocks and stuff. I don't think we understand how pleasurable being angry is. Like
Yeah.
it's I think the reason that we get
Alexandra
stuck.
does.
I do know.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. I think that's why we get
It's a good
like
feeling.
it feels like this track that like we accidentally get on and then we can't get off the track because it just feels so good to keep
Yes,
following that thread. And yeah,
that's
like you're
right. Yeah.
articulate all of a sudden. And it's just like I can fucking keep just going, you know,
Yeah.
forever. And it feels
Yes.
amazing. Um,
The nines become awake. Ah, I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
keep
Well,
being
there's a
angry
point.
forever.
Totally. There's a point where it, like, supersedes the fear. It supersedes like the I don't know, like the fear of not just the fear of separation and the fear of like coming across badly or something like that, but it also supersedes like the fear of hurting someone's feeling. There's like an incredible self-respect and self-trust that happens, and of course it can be taken too far, and like I have taken it too far, yeah, on my
Yeah.
roller
too.
coaster of rage. But it feels in the moment like, and this is all very like one wing coded also because we have like permission from God to do this.
Of course.
But it does feel like, it feels like, oh no, I'm respecting myself. This is like the good and like truth. This is so one. I can't even believe I just said that, but it feels like the truth. It feels like the truth that's coming out. It's so embarrassing.
I feel like you're a direct conduit for like understanding the world as it actually is. Like you're like, I see it now. I see it now. And
Yeah,
I feel
yes.
it. And I can just,
And
I think I articulate it. That feeling of being
Yes.
able to articulate it.
Yeah.
Um,
And then it can just go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and then being 9 too, it's just like, it feels suddenly like, okay, it can be, I don't know, it can be just like whatever the trigger point was. Now suddenly that's connecting to all of these like past trigger points. And so the roller coaster is, we're going through the whole fucking web. You're going to sit down and listen to all of this now. It's going to be
you're
a
gonna
long
get those
ride. I've got a
spider
lot to
webs all over your
express.
face.
Here are the
Is
receipts.
this going to make sense
all
by the
right.
end? No, but I am feeling horny with rage right now, and I need to see this through to the end.
Yes. And yeah, the articulation piece I think is really important because I think that is it. I think anger is the soul articulating itself, you know? And that is why 9 is unarticulated. Like it is mushy and blurry and it's not clear but anger is clarity. And I
Yep.
think that's why
Right.
it's scary. Maybe not even just scary, but overwhelming. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, like I see everything in such clarity all of a sudden. It's a jarring experience for
Yeah,
anybody.
because part of it too is it like, at least in my experience, it also makes it that much more clear that this is, again, this is very 911 thing to say, but like what I've been putting up with, like it makes it that much more clear. Just like, oh, now I'm suddenly able to articulate that like this feels bad, this feels bad, this is wrong, this is da da da, I need this, blah blah blah. And it makes me that much more aware that like, oh, I've been not living in like a self-respect basically. I don't know why that
Yes.
word keeps coming up, but like it just like I've not been doing this, and now it's like this thing where like I'm not angry. It's kind of like the trance thing we were talking about, and a thing of like being angry, not necessarily, it stops being about the other person almost, and it's just like, oh my God, I'm angry now. It's like I'm mad that I have been not asserting this whole time,
I
you
haven't been
know, because
feeling it.
Yeah.
yes, and it's like I've been, you know, so it's like I don't know what is fucking wrong with my imagery today, that it's just like all so bizarre. But it's like it's like I'm standing on the first step when I like know that I need to be on like the 17th step or something like that, like on a staircase or something. And it makes the anger of being able to articulate why I should be here and how I have not been, and how what's been getting in my way, how I've been getting in my own way, blah, 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 makes it that much more clear that like I'm only on the first fucking step, and then more anger comes, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, and
Are
I guess
you kidding
also,
me?
that's the other half of it too. I guess, yeah, we don't just get scared of the experience of anger, we get scared of what it
God damn.
uncovers, right? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
good way to
that's
put it.
good.
fuck, like I'm like how
Yeah.
old and I haven't been doing anything, and I've just been putting up with bullshit. Like,
Yes,
Putting up
that's
with
it. Literally how it
bullshit.
you.
feels.
Oh my God. And like,
Yes.
and then there's the fear of like, I'm never ever gonna get to where I need to be. And like, I know if I had just been experiencing this the whole time, I could be all the way over there, and I could be living in like a reality I actually want,
Yeah,
It's
you could create the
realizing
Well,
like,
and
I
that's
environment
don't
that
it.
would
want
feel
So
good for
any
I,
of
you.
this.
right. And that's why
Yeah.
I feel like I think we do experience it. It's just we don't, you know how like things in the body are just so abstract and we
Yeah.
kind of write it off, or we say, oh, it's that instead of this. I think we do experience it. We just don't identify it. And I mean, especially with nine, like I think like when I think that's where like the being in touch with the very like the subtle reactions of the body, I think are the things that actually are telling us that something's being breached here, something's being like I don't like this, or that this is not like I would not enjoy, or I don't know, like there's different things. I think it's like the life path though, that it's like slowly identifying them, and I think that's where like anger comes up when those have finally reached their clarity. They've been there all along, and then it's like, oh, that's what it was. And now I know going forward that subtle disturbance or feeling or whatever is where I need to be, like that's what I need to be in touch with, instead of like pushing those discomforts to the side. I mean, like that's very attachment, but I also think that is what Hexad's doing as well. It's just like their coping mechanism is different. So like a nine's
Right.
just gonna like numb out and be like, oh, I'm not angry, like I'm
Yeah.
just I'm this or that, or I'm sick, or I'm hungry, or I'm blah, like just gonna like I'm gonna like push it off into something else. But and other types, like frustration types get frustrated. That's just a coping. That's not really anger, like
Right.
that's a
It's
way
not
to
really
try to
anger.
control something. And like, so that's a coping mechanism and just a distraction from like, I'm frustrated about this and I need that and blah, blah, blah. And like rejection's doing the same thing. It's just like, oh, I'll just fucking chop that bit off and keep it over there and compartmentalize it and blah, blah, blah. Like we're all trying to sort these subtle messages from the body into other things, so we don't have to confront like the actual like anger that it's kind of like starting to bubble up. And that's why anger is like notoriously always too late for like everybody in a sense, because it's like, oh, I had to experience that boundary being crossed over and over and over and over and over again for me to be like, oh, that was a boundary.
Right. It's just such clear reminders of just like, oh, I exist here. Oh, I exist here. Oh, I think especially for honestly for everybody, but 9 is the one that like really represents it in everybody, because we're so depressed. I don't mean like emotionally depressed, but like our life force can be so depressed. We just turn it in, we turn it in until we become this like concave thing that doesn't get to have any space. And then finally when something does come in, like that 17th step that I'm saying, it's not necessarily of like a life kind of like trajectory or goals or career or something like that. It's more just like, oh, I could have spent more time just fully existing.
Yes.
I could have spent more time fully existing, you know? And then, of course, what happens, that, like, anger gets projected onto the person that we have been accommodating for, and then we blame it on that person. And, you know, sometimes we can, oh, God. Okay, I think 9s need to hold the responsibility that, like, I do think we train people to just do that, and then we get mad at them for it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
we train them to just like, no, you take up all the space. You run the show. You
Of
blah, blah, blah.
course,
And
of
then
course.
suddenly we're
Train them, we
pissed at them and be like,
encourage
you didn't give any space.
Yeah, we
And,
encourage
it's
them,
Like, well,
yeah.
what the fuck? You just get long-term gaslighting them.
Yep.
So sorry to anyone that's known me for a long time. My bad. I was part of that, I guess. Sorry, I just flipped the script one day. But anyway, yeah, that's where that anger comes. Where like if the life force is continuously being expressed, and there is all of this space to just exist in the way that you can and want, and I don't know, just do exist. Maybe it's just a matter of just like do and be, instead of like, I don't know, some more dynamic thing.
I think that's why, I mean, I've known a lot of self-pres social 9s in my life, and I can tell you each one of them, if ever asked their biggest pet peeve, it is people who are just irrationally angry. Like that is notoriously the answer.
Yeah.
And it is that kind of, like cutting off of self and putting into other, that like I can't ever be irrationally angry. But like, first off, like what other anger is there? But like, just like irrational. It's always going to start out that way.
In anger.
Yeah.
There's no construct that's being like, it's not rational. It's never been organized. That's the whole point. Is it's like it's raw.
Yeah, it's raw and
extremely subjective. It's personal.
Right. And it's like, oh, you can only organize it over time. Like there's no way that you can start out having anger figured out at all, because like the process of individuation, that the thing I was reading from, it is a process of meeting yourself over and over and over again, like different parts of yourself. And so each time is a new encounter to repair, in a sense, you know? And so it's like, it can only happen over time. Like one of the most notorious things, like in my astrological practices, I am a Mars ruled chart, and so I'm notoriously a more confrontational person than normal as a 9. I've actually, like, when I was also a very, very calm and not a tantrum kind of whatever kid. I like even tried to ask my mom, like, what did I get angry at when I was like young? And she's like, oh, I can't remember. My dad was like, you got angry at losing things all the time, and that was it. And I'm like, okay, that tracks. But I do remember a pretty clear, like, in middle school is like when I really started to be confrontational, because I'm like really a social type, and I'm starting to feel my boundaries being crossed, and now I have to confront, you know, and I can be confrontational. And in my chart, my Mars ruled chart, my ruler of Mars is opposite my moon. And so biggest notorious thing I fucking run into all the time is that I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to confront. I want to anger. I want to exert. And meanwhile, there's this hidden process going on that is like happening that I am unaware of, that needs to take its time to reveal itself. And then I'm like, wow, I just spent this whole time being frustrated and angry and like trying to like regain a sense of control and assertion and like, you know, power or whatever it is that I'm trying to do. And like, then something is like, oh, here, look at that. Like another person does something, or like, I read something, or like, I just, you know, take a fucking nap and look at some memes or something like that. And it's like, oh, wait, I don't need to be doing any of that. Like all of that fire, all of that like energy I was feeling, like is really, I'm trying to fight time, you know, like I'm trying to fight like a natural process. I think that's a lot of what like also people just kind of have as a collective experience, is like not accepting that there are just like natural processes to things. Like we're saying with anger, like, yeah, like you're going to, with anger, you're going to say dumb shit, and you're going to confuse a person for your mom, and you're going to like, and you're going to like make awful mistakes and fuck up relationships and stuff like that. And through time, like you develop a relationship with that. Hopefully, I mean, like,
If you're paying attention,
that's the goal. Yeah, that's the goal. But yeah, it's just like, yeah, that's just something that I've always found myself in a situation around, because it's just like, oh yeah, there are other, this will reveal itself. It's like a trust kind of thing. It's that like, isn't it like with 8, it's, you know, surrender, you know, when there's like
that, yeah.
I don't even remember what the fuck I'm referring to. I just remember the word surrender is associated with 8 in a positive way. And it's that... Who said it and where it came from? No fucking idea. But anyway, why I like that though is because like 8 has this energy of just power, you know, and like when we understand what power really is, not like dominating power and leverage kind of power, but like internal, like real power, there's always a sense of trust and like surrendering that goes along with that power. Because it's like a real embodied sense of power knows its boundaries and can be like wise to what it's like meeting, you know, and part of that is time, part of that is other people and their processes through time, part of that is like your unconscious material cannot be given to you all at once, and other people's unconscious material cannot be shown nor given to them all at once. And so there will always be things unknown and unresolved and like, you know, needing time for those things to, that healing kind of process to occur and things to be revealed. And it's just like, oh, fuck, like I'm always running into that. I'm a very stubborn person because I keep running it as my life lesson.
Oh my God, me too.
That's so...
Yeah.
That's so Taurus Mars. So much of what you articulated is so Taurus Mars. Just like the natural just like blooming and unfolding and revealing of like the way a flower blooms. You can't rush it. It's like it's its own process, it's its own earthly,
you can't scream at the flower
blossoming.
Like,
you can't rush it. Yeah. And like I'm Aries Mars, so I like absolutely think everything can be done. Just explode. Just say it. And I'm just like, if you just yell long enough, you'll figure it out, you know? But that's absolutely not true. And like, I'll just yell until I lose my voice, until the like orgasm comes. And then I'm like, I'm going to have to do that again. Cause I don't feel good yet.
I think it's like when I learned that like my Mars being placed in a Venus sign is like Mars isn't very happy there. I'm like, fuck, I feel that so much. I feel like everyone else can just express anger like that, like you just described.
Oh
And
no, mine's
I'm
unhinged
just
though. Mine's not responsible.
Oh,
mine is
neither.
well, and that's the thing. Mine isn't necessarily like responsible, but I do feel like it only comes out in a like it has a very soft landing kind of thing. Like it,
It also is it's a blooming. You probably
yeah.
are more like in tune with what you're actually delivering once the like fruit is bared.
Yes,
You know,
I do
mine
have to
really
say,
is
like
just a volcano just popping off, and you're like,
when
hope I got the target. You know, hope it landed.
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm gonna have to erupt again.
when I have been angry, like and confrontational with my anger, I know like social self-pres, 911, whatever, but like it is like God's text has written.
Oh, I'm sure.
And
I'm
I'm
sure.
like, here is
yeah.
the word
Learn
now.
from me.
And
They've come down
The
from the
word
mountain.
now.
yeah, I've
some-
come down from the mountain.
some
I
great
have
food.
them now. Here you go. And it just
Also, the
feels
Taurus
like
Mars can be just it's so heavy, right? It's so rooted in the earth, so it's very unmoving. It's not the like sparkler psychotic thing of like a Gemini Mars or something like that, or something more dynamic and I don't know, just like moving around more. Taurus Mars is so steady, and it's so just like, nope, I'm pissed, and open up. Here comes the fucking train. Like,
here's the thing too. It's like I get even like not even like I'm pissed. It's like
yeah.
I am now the disappointed father.
Oh,
And now
God.
like I get into disappointed father energy, and it's like crazy.
That's so
Yeah,
funny.
I literally got hot with you when you said that. I'm like, oh God, I'm so familiar with that archetype.
God.
That was my family, and guess who was the odd one out? It was me. I'm like, be disappointed, Dad. I don't give a fuck. But meanwhile, I'm
Fuck
like,
you,
oh my
Dad.
God, I give so much of a fuck, and I'm so uncomfortable right now.
That's the six fix thing
Oh,
right
God.
there. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
What is your Mars, Alice?
Oh, it's Leo.
Oh my
So-
God!
Wow,
So
you
you're
are
on my club.
courageous.
Oh yeah.
You're the
So,
fire
okay,
Mars.
yeah. My anger is interesting. This is part of the reason I thought that I was four-ish for so long, because when I get angry, I get super superior, and my anger comes
That
out.
is very Leo.
I'm like, you're stupid. Like I want people to feel like they're just scum, you know, when I'm angry at them. And I specifically want them to feel like they've never had a thought before. It's really, really bad. And it must be so painful to be on the receiving end. Because, oh my God, the superiority thing is just crazy. Because I'm taking in information all the time. So like I do have like I have a pretty good framework of like most topics I'm like engaging with. So if someone pisses me off, I will just like, I don't know, just lay them bare and just make
Yeah,
them feel like an idiot. That's really bad.
The Leo, the king.
Yeah, but people don't pick fights with
King,
me.
pissed
I've
off
actually
king.
noticed this. There's like some kind of energy that I have that people do not fuck with. I don't know why. I don't think I'm very intimidating, but yeah, like people don't cross me.
Yeah. I think people typically know not to just start a fight with nines. Not because we're like so fucking scary, but I think like the containment is a real thing where it's kind of just like your effort's going to be wasted here. I'm not going to
Yeah.
react, and then I do.
And I guess
But-
there's the micro like Leo Mars thing, I guess. It's like if someone does cross that line a little bit, I'll give like a little tiny like fuck
Oh,
you.
like a little
I
bit
don't
of it
know.
back.
And they'll be like, oh, okay. I won't.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I think especially one wings are good at like just like, oh, here's one little shrapnel for you. Fuck you. Just,
Right.
But it, like a tiny one, like a little, like a needle almost, where it's just like, hey, I'm capable of this. Like, shut your mouth.
Yeah. A warning shot.
That's interesting.
Warning shot, yeah.
Oh my God. That was so fucking funny.
That was
Talking about
funny.
anger is so funny. It really is so funny to me. It's just like, God.
The one thing that I was reading too, that they were saying that the whole like tense and release thing that happens with anger, the other thing that can help with the release of anger is humor,
Totally.
because it's a release.
Always.
It's a release.
Always.
Totally.
So yeah, it's like when you're angry, like there is a way that humor can help you, like, oh, like naturally kind of calm down too.
Yes, I'm very familiar with that too. Yeah.
It's like it's the laughing orgasm instead of
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, it's just as cathartic. Yeah, it's just as cathartic. It's such a between two people also, it's such a huge sign of chemistry too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I
having
think so.
similar senses of humor, being able to make each other laugh, like all of that kind of stuff. Not that that's necessarily related to Mars, but it is like a moving kind of like, I honestly think Mars energy can often, I've talked about this so many times, but it can be infused into humor, like with that like roasting. There is a way, it is like a playful kind of recognition of each other's difference and each other's personhoods and each other's like, you know, like where you end and I begin. Like, I'm gonna make fun of you for this thing. I don't know. It's there's something in there. Maybe you guys can articulate that better, but I do think there's like a healthy there is like a healthy playing with differentiation and even anger in humor that I think can be healthy and feel good.
Yeah. I think it does like release steam sometimes too. Like there have been times where I've
steam
gotten
is
into
good.
like angry conversations, but like somehow we can both feel that we're light enough to make like
Yeah.
a really awful joke, you know, like that kind of
Yeah, totally.
where it's just like completely like outlandish, just like, you know, dig at each other or something like that. Like it's, and it just is like,
Totally.
okay, like it's that moment where like you look at the camera kind of thing and you're like,
Yes, yes.
just have that moment of like, oh.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It does make light of it. Yeah. Because, yeah, I've experienced so many times where I'm just like right at the precipice of actually turning into like the unfun anger. And then I'll be like, I'm going to kill you right now. You know, just kind
Yes,
of,
I've done
I'm going
that.
to fucking kill you right now. It's going to happen
That's
right now.
exactly-
And then it's just like release into laughter. Like, oh, thank God. Okay.
Yep.
Thank the Lord.
Yep.
Hulk,
I've
do
done
not
that.
smash right now.
I've done-
Never not piss me off.
Exactly. I think that's why like anger in relationships, like period, friendships, families, like romantic partnerships, whatever, it's like so important. Like if you're not having some kind of anger usually going on, like anger builds trust, and
It really
anger
does repair.
like it repairs, and it does show like the parts of you, your boundaries, and like that are different and blah blah blah. Like they're so important.
Honestly, shows desire too. It really does.
It does,
Oh,
It
yeah.
just really does. If everything's too like copacetic all the time, I don't even know how to pronounce that word. All the time, there's a little bit like, what are we?
Hey, what are we doing here?
What
Yeah.
are we doing here? You know, if I
like-
want to kill you a little bit, do I even like you?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, it's life. You know, worshiping the god of anger is worshiping the god of life. Like, being a living being, we have to kill. We have to eat. Like everything eats and is eaten. Like we are constantly in this weird game of like protecting ourselves and getting what we want from our environment. When you're in a dynamic with somebody that is stable for too long, like it feels like it's been frozen or refrigerated or some weird like unnatural like stasis has been injected into it, and it's it's not moving, you know?
Yeah.
It's not moving.
Yeah, it's not
And
growing.
anger is, like you said before, it's movement. So it's this kind of like, it is energy, it's force. And God, yeah, I mean, just speaking to my own relationship, like every time me and my partner have a huge fight, after that's done, like the relationship is awesome for like a while, and then it stagnates, and then whatever. But like, it's that renewing cycle of like,
Totally. Yeah.
it's rupture and repair. It's like building muscle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would be bringing the tower back into it too, just finding the thing that needs to be like ruptured and taken down in order to create the new cycle.
Foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.